And we're going to put in some indicators or reference points so that we know where to draw these panels in. And the first thing we're doing is back to our rectangle tool, and I want you to sketch in or draw in a rectangle for where the window is, and basically what you wanted is about halfway in on the actual frame size, because if you remember, the frame of the window actually overlaps the size of the hole in the trailer. Now I like to again move in a little closer for what I'm working on here now. And now we're going to draw some lines to represent where this division happens between the panels. And if I come down here, you can see that the blue square or diamond shape, whatever you want to call it, at the end of pencil changes to red when I hit the line for the top of that box I just put in there. And why that's convenient is because it's in the shadow area there, at least in my picture, and I can't tell where that line is. Alright, so what I want to do is find that, move it back and forth, and line up where I feel this segment would cross where the window comes. And when I have that, click once, go up and click right on, excuse me, I still have the box tool, so I'm going to hit my space bar to get rid of that, and then I need to hit L to get my line tool, see, and whether it's just the pencil without another symbol. Okay, got it right, click. Okay, got what we want now, and I want to bring it to where I change the angle. Click again. Alright, let's come down to the next one. See, again, I'm looking at this and trying to pull it through to where it hits the box. Click, come up, put in my mark. Same thing here. Now you'll notice these aren't exactly on the same spot. For what we're doing, I think that's perfectly fine and not a problem. And also, when you take the photograph, no matter how careful you were in taking that photograph, the chances that you could get, well, you can't get a straight on angle, so those would all look like straight lines. So we have to make this approximation as we're working here. So I'm going to go around till I get each one of these in, and again, see, that line doesn't want to go right where I want it, so I'm going to move way in close. See, then I can make small movements and line it up to the point that I want it, and then I'm going to move back out. So now we have the divisions for what will be the inner shell. The next thing we need to do is come up and make that same division go to the point where the angle changes there, the intersection, and draw the line up to that point. And the thing again we want to do is hit the intersection. See, notice when I'm out here I got a red line, but when I get the intersection it turns green. Now if this line isn't perfectly straight to this one, again it's not going to make a big difference, because what we're really doing here is creating a visual reproduction of what the trailer looks like, and the exact dimensions of the outside skin aren't that vitally important, because there isn't a whole lot we're going to do with any redesigning or changing of the outside skin, so a little difference here and there is not going to hurt. Alright, so if I turn around and look at the other side, okay, there I can see my pattern that I've developed and what I will be using. At this point, we really don't need this picture anymore. It would be a distraction if we were to continue with the picture on there. So if you go up to Materials, click on Materials, and you come down when it says Use Texture Image and deselect that box, the picture goes away, and now we just have our pattern shape to work with, and we can proceed. Alright, so there's our pattern, and we are going to now start working on the front part of the shell in the front, and we will take and click on our components box, And you can see 55 flying cloud pattern. That's the pattern we made. I'm going to click on it, and once I've highlighted it, I can drag this down to the place where I want to locate it. And in this case, I'm going to locate it just a little in front of this window because that's where the pattern stops. And I want to bring it over and make sure that it sits on the red axis. Okay, that's close, a little off. Come back, move it again. Much better. Okay, so now we have our pattern moved up to begin to draw the front shell of our trailer. Now, click on it once, and it's highlighted. Double click on it a couple more times, and 3 clicks maybe, and you'll notice when everything is highlighted here, so is it back here. Which means at these points, these two components are linked together. What does that mean? If I click on a section here, use my pull tool, both of them work at the same time. And we don't want that. So click in the gray area until you get everything deselected. Click on this component once to highlight it as a component. Right click and come down to Make Unique and click on it. Now you notice what happened. We actually got a second or a reproduction of the pattern in the component section. That's one way of telling us that this is separated and unique. Let's close this. Now the other thing, if I click again to get everything highlighted like we just did, you can see this one doesn't. So that's another way that you can tell that your design is unique. Alright, so let's start. We're going to work with the intersection, and since I want to work with the intersection and create the inner shell first, I do not need the outer section information on this example. So I'm going to click on it till everything is highlighted, and then I'm going to go around and highlight the outside edges and hit the delete key and delete the lines that are specific to the outer shell. Okay, and there's the information for our inner shell. Now what I want to do is start pulling this out to the proper thickness. So I'm going to click on this again till I highlight the bottom section of our pattern. And I'm going to come up and either click on and use the pull tool, this one here, it shows a little arrow pulling the side of the box out, or I can just hit the P key and get the same thing. And then I'm going to pull this out till it hits right on the front edge of the trailer. Now, one of the things I'm going to do different, and this is part of the other reason that I ask you to pick and make this a texture rather than an object. Let's go up to our materials item again, come down, and you can see it's now at 100%. Again, I want to make sure this is at somewhere around 50%. Close the box. Now as I'm pulling things out and working, I can see what I'm pulling as well as the reference to every other part of the box. And with my pull tool, since this was the last thing I pulled out, I should be able to come to these back ones and just double click quickly, and it'll pop right out to the same distance. So you can just work your way up, double clicking each item, and if, just like happened to me, if it happens to lose it, click and pull it and just run this line anywhere along on these front sections, and it will bring that right to the same length. And then I can go back and use the double click method to finish. Alright, so here's the beginning of our pattern, and what we're going to do here, there's some lines we don't need. We just want this outer shape and the bottom. So I'm going to start clicking on these other lines to eliminate this inner detail.